M2 and the modifications inside of it. I've had the M2 for quite some time now, and I was thinking about the other day, I might get rid of it soon just because it costs a lot to run. So whilst it's still here, I want to do some videos on it. Okay, so welcome to my garage, but before we go into that, I feel like I need to go ahead and explain what's going on here, because last night in the garage, I connected the subwoofer to this custom box. Now, I'm going to talk or touch on more why I'm going to have a subwoofer later on in this video, but this is the setup that I'm going with. It's a Hertz 900 watt subwoofer. I picked this up off eBay for about 120 quid. So essentially, this big boy here, this big woofer, needs to be dropped into this cage here, which is like a perfect cutout for the back of a 2 Series BMW, and then we'll screw it in, and then it gets installed and connected to the aftermarket amplifier that we can control with our Mac, with Windows on it, obviously. Okay, so here is our subwoofer. It's super heavy. Now, off camera, what I've gone ahead and done is piped in this JBL amplifier. Now this is the JBL Club 5501 single channel amplifier. This is what's going to be driving this subwoofer that's going to be going in the boot of my M2. But then we need a way to get a signal from the head unit of this car to this amplifier, so this amplifier can then drive this subwoofer. And the only way to do that is to replace the stock amplifier that comes with the M2, and to do that we need to rip the boot to pieces. Okay, so unplug that cigarette lighter, and now literally this boot lining will just pull all the way out of here, nice and easy. Now Bimatech make sort of aftermarket modifications, things for your BMWs, and they make this amplifier which essentially you plug in and it just does what this was going to do, but it does it better. It allows you to control it via like an EQ via your Mac, and it also gives you an RCA out, so you can connect another amplifier like this, so we can have our subwoofer running in the boot. Does that make sense? So this is just a glorified version of this, and I've just plugged it in. It's all plug and play. So now we build the boot back. Oh God. Yeah, look at that. So this is like a complete custom install. A lot of people in the comments are going to be like, Alex, why are you putting a subwoofer in your car? I didn't realize people still like to drive around and just have loads of bass. No, this isn't for loads of bass. This is to hear certain frequencies, and I'll discuss and touch more on that later in the video when we actually plug in and configure the Bimatech amplifier. But we need to mount this to here so it doesn't, well, come out and slide around. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys can see here, but this subwoofer is definitely vibrating, so everything is working. I can drill this sub into the enclosure and we can get this boot portion finished up now. I'm not going to be able to use the cigarette lighter in my boot anymore, and this is adding a hell of a lot of weight to what's meant to be a fast, light car, but still, like, I'm doing this for the sound quality just because I love sound, and I can't wait to show you guys what this amplifier is capable of. And by the way, I had to plug a USB cable into this amplifier, and I've ran it out here, so whenever I want to plug in to configure the amp or change the sound signature, I can do. Okay, so as you lot can see, the subwoofer is installed, everything's connected up, the car is put back together, and this looks absolutely awesome. The boot build is complete. We now have a 10-inch subwoofer in here, and it's gonna sound absolutely amazing. Now comes the fun part. We can go ahead, plug these together like so, and I can go through, sit in the driver's seat, and configure my amplifier. One thing to note though, I've been found out scratching my head for the last sort of half an hour. This tool does not work on boot camp on a Mac. I've had it working on a Windows PC before, and it's worked a-okay, but it is just not connecting to the amplifier. We're gonna have to leave it until next week to configure the amp, but what we can do is plug into the car with this cable from Defined Coding and enable full screen CarPlay on my car. This is what I mean about the full screen CarPlay. As you guys can see at the moment, it's not full screen. So if I was to, let's say, open Google Maps, you can see we've got this sort of dinky little map down here. It's not using the full widescreen display. Now, Defined Coding are a company or service that can do lots of things to BMW cars. One of them is enabling this full screen CarPlay. So, instructions are to connect our laptop into the car via this big cable here. am slightly concerned that it says flashing time 000 and now the screen has gone blue inside of this car. Oh, now it's gone off. I hope this is working. I hope this is not going to destroy my car. I'm sure everything's going to be fine. And there we go, it says it's done on the software, so now if I use my iDrive controller, go over to Apple CarPlay, hopefully, there is full screen Apple CarPlay working, well, across the entire screen. So guys, it's now a week later and I've managed to source a device that natively runs Windows. So as you can see here, I've installed the Audio-Tech Fisher software on it. And I am like no audio whiz, so there'll be people out there that know how to use this software much better than I do. But I'm just going to take you through its feature set essentially and what you can do with it. So essentially here at the top, you've got front left, front right, rear, center. There's a center channel in this car. There's two subwoofers under the front left and right seats. I'm not quite sure what subwoofer 3 is. And then line out is the RCA output that we're actually running to our JBL amplifier. Now what you can go ahead and do with this is bypass all of the speakers and then individually tune each speaker in the car to your liking with all of this equalizer down here. And it is like so precise. You can go in and fine tune this like just unbelievable amounts. I would love to get like a proper audio engineer to sit here in my car and tune this for me. But what I'm going to do is sit here and tune it and hopefully get some nice results. Okay, so I've spent about half an hour fine-tuning what I think to be good settings for my ears, or what sounds good in this car for me. So obviously it's coming through the lav mics, but I'll click play right now and you guys can try and listen too. Okay, so there we go. That is the audio upgrades done to the car. Oh, also, here's another little modification that I didn't show you guys that I did literally in the week whilst we were trying to source that laptop. I now have I don't know what you call them, projectors on the floor. It's still kind of light outside, but yeah, I have projectors on the floor, so you can kind of have that. I'll put a B-roll shot of it over. We need more mods. We're going to go and see Kyle from Define Coding, and he's going to code loads of stuff into this car. Convenience features like video in motion, different bits and bobs like that. So I'm going to go see him and then we'll demo all of the features.
So yeah, my name's Kyle, I'm here from Define Coding and we specialise in enhancing BMWs, Rolls Royces and Minis, and we can turn your average BMW into a monster and enable features you've never seen before. As you can see now, I'm connected up to the car and I'll be going through the different modules and options that are available for Alex's car, and he'll be able to decide what exactly he wants down to a T. So here we've got the body module we'll be calling for Alex. Enable door handle LED lights while in reverse. Now this illuminates the LED lights that are stored underneath the door handles, and at night time it's quite a nice feature. As mentioned before, you can have ton of options or as little as you like. It totally depends on how customized you want it. It's totally up to you, it's personal preference.
So Kyle has finally left now, and I'm going to try and run you through all of the features that he's enabled on this car. And if you guys want the same things done, I'll put all his links down in the description. The first one is the automatic start stop remember. So if you guys can see this button here, and if I click it, a little light comes on. Essentially, if the light is on there, the car will not turn off if you approach traffic lights and brake. Now that is really cool, but the problem is this feature resets and turns back off every time you lock the car or restart the engine. But now it remembers what its last state was. So there you go, it's come back on. I've just started the engine and it's off again. Awesome. Now usually in a BMW, this screen would turn off and it'd just go away and you wouldn't be able to see the reversing camera. But Carl has enabled it so that this now just stays on. So I can now see who is up my rear end or trying to rear end me or right up my bumper, or if I'm in a race I can see who's behind me, and it just stays on whilst I'm driving. You can actually toggle it on and off with this button down here. So if I click that and then click that, boom, my camera is now back on and I'm driving forward. We've got a music video playing. Now you can do this in any BMW, but what Kyle's actually done is enabled it whilst you're driving. Now, here at TechFlow, we do not condone watching movies whilst driving. This is something obviously for your passenger to watch whilst you're on the road. But usually a big message would come up to say, right, stop driving, and the video will play. But my car is now not doing that. It's just playing the video whilst I'm driving. Pretty cool. It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sick.
Like, it's just a bit weird just driving along having that playing there. I mean, obviously, I'm concentrating on the road, guys. I'm driving the car, but if you've got a passenger here, this is awesome. Okay, so those were all of the sort of convenience features in the car that are applicable for when you're actually driving. There's one more that happens when you reverse. So if you look at my door handles right now, they've actually got lights underneath them. And if I put the car into reverse now, it should put these lights on underneath the door handles, which is pretty cool. And also, there's one more. If I actually get out the car and lock it, I get an audible beep. 1 beep for lock, 2 beeps for unlock. Kyle, thanks for coding my car, because this thing is now a beast. The day is now setting here at TechFlow though, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. My name's been Alex, this has been my modded M2 comp, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios.
For my super yakin' to go take a seat. Hope you're ready for the next episode. Ready for the next episode. Hope you're ready for the next episode. Ready for the next episode.